Hi ECF, hope you're having a great week. Hey, so this past weekend I had someone ask me a great question, a person who was really being thoughtful about churches that they were looking for. And they asked me a question, they said, so how would you define a healthy church? And I actually told them, I said, you know what, out of everything we've talked about, that's probably one of the most important questions you ask. And it's one in which I think a lot of people have a differing opinions on, but as I look back on the history of Eastside Christian Fellowship, and as I kind of look at other churches I've been involved with, and I think about what Jesus tasked his church with, I would say it kind of boils down to a few different bullet points here. And so when I think of a healthy church, first of all, I think of a church that's gospel-centered with the Bible as the main course. You know, if you're gonna have a meal, what's that main course? I think the Bible's got to be the main course. And it's got to be gospel-centered, where we're constantly pointing people back to Jesus, the good news of Jesus, no matter where we are in the Bible. Second of all, I think it needs to be multi-generational. I'm really, really proud of the fact that we're from 0 to 90 years old, actually 90 plus. And I just think that's awesome because it gives a sense of wisdom and stability across the generations. And it gives a lot of, it gives us a lot of input from different people as well. I think that's one of the things that's helped us to stay healthy from a church for all these years. The thirdly is the thing I would say is peaceful. That doesn't mean that there's not ever conflict. It doesn't mean that there's never discord of any sort, but we're willing to talk through that. We tell people in the connecting points when they come and they hear about ECF, one thing we say is, if we can agree on this basic statement of faith, we ought to be able to make it through anything as peaceful people. And so we invite people, if you want to be part of a peaceful place, come and consider being a part of Eastside Christian Fellowship. I also say, kind of kiddingly, but halfway seriously, is, hey, listen, if you thrive on a place that's not being peaceful, then this probably isn't the place for you. So I believe that a healthy church needs to be a peaceful place. I also think there needs to be transparent leadership, where the leadership is constantly communicating. We've got transparency in our finances. We've got transparency in communication just with what's going on, where there's not these big secrets that are being kept, but that we're really being upfront about everything that's going on, because it is what it is, and let's deal with it as it is, right? Fourthly, fifthly, wherever we are, it's a sense of community, that we have to be that family. Jesus talks about how we're going to come in and be this family together, and he likens it to each one of us having our own part. Paul talked about this in Corinthians, where we each have our own part, we're each a different part of the body, but we operate together. And so realize that you have a gift, I have a gift, but we all have to come together with those gifts and utilize them together for God's glory. And the last thing I would simply say, and this isn't by no means an exhaustive list, but I think a healthy church is one that's outwardly aware, that we're not so focused on what we're doing that we're forgetting about those people that are out. And this is why serving our community is such an important piece of who we are. Jesus was always looking. He would walk through a crowd, yet he would notice the woman over here who was hurting, or he would notice the person over here who had a relative who was sick. He noticed those people on the peripheral, the marginalized in our society. And I think that as a church, we look outwardly, which is one of the reasons as we go into this time of the year, it's so important that we have this opportunity to serve other people. So as we look at, we think about where the Operation Christmas Child boxes are going to be going. We look to millions of kids all around the world who are going to bring a little bit of joy for just a little bit of sacrifice on our part. So we're 2 weeks away from that. I just want to end with this as a reminder to you. We're 2 weeks away on the 17th of November from collecting all these boxes. Get those boxes, get them filled, do it ahead of time, commit to doing a bunch of them this year, and let's see what God does. And then let's just honor Him through this next holiday season and be the healthiest church we can be. God bless your day.